This is the 18th season of Bass Talk Live. With your host, Matt Pangrath. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Bass Cat Boats, AFCO, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, X-Zone Lures, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, and Pro Guide Batteries.
BTL, coming at you!
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. It is that time of the year, folks. And I actually got one of the Christmas sweaters. It's more like a sweatshirt than a sweater. The BTL Christmas sweatshirts. Like I said, if you've been following the BTL, we've been like on a 2-month odyssey to try to get some loaded to the cork merchandise for Day 4 and Frank and some other BTL stuff up before Christmas. Been working with ATS Printing. That stuff, as it comes in, will be available on the Bass Zone website under the merch tab. But if you want to get a sweatshirt, I think they're like discounted now. So they're not like actual sweaters; they're actually sweatshirts. So I'm supposed to be like 6'170". I'm like 6'190" right now. It's been an issue that I've been working with over the past 6 months that I'll tackle in the new year. But anyway, this is an extra large if you're looking for a size comparison. I think for less than $30 you can pick up one of those. So there's the merchandise update for the day. We have a good show today. And chances are, if you're a listener to BTL, you've ordered stuff online from any number of different tackle sellers over the past couple years. I remember way back in the day having a discussion with Jeffers. You were talking like, hey, will anyone ever actually like order stuff offline without being able to see it? Because I remember the thing was you'd like walk through the store and you'd be like, that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good. And now I would love to see the numbers of how much tackle in guys' boats from Elite Series and BPT all the way down to BFL's club and recreational anglers are ordered without actually putting their hands on it. So I've kind of teased it leading up to it, but BTL pairing with Omnia Fishing, Northern Company. Like if you're up around Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, that type of stuff, household name. You get down south more, and they're kind of like, what, Omnia? And I'm like, yeah, dude, they're doing all sorts of cool stuff. So I've had a lot of talks, been working with them for probably about 5 or 6 months. I had a meeting at ICAST, and there's some really cool stuff that Omnia is doing in the online tackle selling world that we're going to talk about. So Pete Przepiora, I think I got that right. If I didn't get that probably, yeah, I think I got that right. Is going to be on. He's the head of merchandising for Omni, and then Trevor Lo. And if that sounds familiar, it's because Trevor Lo has been on BTL before. I've actually been in the boat and fished, I think, on Table Rock maybe once or twice with Trevor Lo, but he fished in the 2016 Classic on Grand, Minnesota. University of Minnesota, and he is also with Omnia in the sponsorship department. So those two guys are going to jump on, talk about what Omnia is doing across the board and how they're kind of utilizing some trends in professional bass fishing to try to push people to go to Omnia and learn about that website. So on top of that, we do have some news in the bass fishing world. The MLF Invitational roster came out, and they filled 150 pros. We've talked a little bit about that format and some of the changes on that. There's a lot of notable names that are not on that list. You can just go to the MajorLeagueFishing.com website and look at it, but there's also a handful of BPT anglers, Jacob Wheeler, most notably. Anybody want to do an over-under on $250,000? I would do a $300,000 between Michael Neal and Jacob Wheeler on the invitationals, not the BPT, just the invitationals. Ken Duke, if you're listening, I'll give you double or nothing because I think you're going to lose the Bassmaster Open bet on 75 guys finishing it. But like I said, a number of anglers there. Some of the rookies like Matt Becker, guys who made the BPT fishing both tours, and then John Cox not fishing the BPT, but fishing the Elite Series and the Invitational. So a good mix over there as that kicks off. All right, we're into December. We are approaching the not hay fever. Hay fever is when you get allergies. Let's bring these guys in. What is it called? Cabin fever. Cabin fever. Because the guys up in Minnesota and stuff, they get cabin fever a lot. Cabin fever, right? Pete,
yeah,
Trevor, thanks for joining us. I'm assuming you guys are up. You guys are both up in Minnesota, right?
Correct. We're both in the office today.
Okay, it's cabin fever, not hay fever. Hay fever is where you go fishing and your eyes and stuff water and you get the cough. Cabin fever is a northern thing. Explain what cabin fever is, Pete.
It's when it's been single-digit wind chills for weeks and you've been stuck indoors for that long. And you can't wait to get out and go fishing.
Do you ever get cabin fever, Trevor?
Oh yeah, it's a reoccurring thing every single year without fail.
Now, do you do the ice fishing thing? Because I know you've not only fished in the Classic, you fish collegiately, but you also, do you still guide on Mille Lacs as well? I know you're doing some guiding on Mille Lacs.
Yeah, I mean, only during open water. Once it freezes over, I switch over to hunting. It's kind of my jam.
All right, you got anything? Have you knocked anything down? I hate talking about hunting because I don't know the lingo for hunting, so it sounds like me going, have you captured any nice fishes? That's me talking about hunting.
Yeah, I shot a 8-point buck this year with my dad out in gun opener, so it was a successful season so far.
I have 40 to 60 pounds. So I'm not a hunter, like I just said, but I've got 40 to 60 pounds of deer meat heading my way. So my buddy drew one of like 4 elk tags in this weird deal in Oklahoma anyway, he met some other hunter. He ended up with like 100 pounds of elk meat. So he's got that. He's got crappie. He's got deer from last year. So he shoots a deer 2 days ago. Maybe it was it's 2 days ago. And he's like, hey, I took it to the processor. What do you want? So I'm paying for the processing. So I'm going to have like all this deer meat that I've never had before. Awesome. And I don't have a standalone freezer to put it in either. So that's going to be interesting.
It looks like you're going to be eating deer meat
but I went with the jalapeno sausage sticks, a lot of those, and a lot of the summer sausage, and then the backstrap and a couple roasts in the ground. Did I do that right?
Yep, you're good. You're covered.
Are you a hunter, Pete?
I am not. No, I just buckle down and work. My parents live down in Florida, so I go down and see them a few times and fish during the winter, but that's about it.
Clay's making me nervous because he said I should have gotten jerky, and I agree. I've had some deer jerky before, but I figured it would be like too lean, but I guess it's legit, huh?
Yeah, it's good stuff for sure.
All right. I want to get into this. This is an interesting dynamic that is very important in the industry. Do you have any numbers, Pete, on how much tackle is bought in store, like at a big box or local retailers, as opposed to how much is ordered like online when it comes to bass fishing specifically?
It's a good question. I don't have the exact dollar figures, but when Omnia was concepted a few years ago, it was still 70% of all tackle sales are still happening at brick and mortar retail at a store level. So whatever that grand number is, still the mass majority of it. They're losing those big box stores and the traditional brick and mortars are losing to e-commerce, single digit percentages every year. But it's trending towards e-commerce, as you were stating, but it still happens a lot at retail.
Now, do you guys have a brick and mortar store in Minnesota that you can like come in and buy the stuff in person?
Yeah, it's a little different than most. It's similar. We kind of equate it to like Napa Auto Parts, right? You walk in there and we've got some gondos, we've got tackle. Obviously, people, especially when it comes to buying rods, a lot of people want to bend the rod, check it out. So we've got some of that stuff up front that you can check out. But we do have computer monitors up there, and you can sit down and you can shop 25,000 different SKUs all from a computer right there and grab it and go out the door. So you're not limited to what we can all fit on pegs.
Wait, so you have it like in the back, like in the warehouse or something, and then you walk in and you order it on the computer in the store, and then someone goes and gets it out of the back and brings it out.
You got it. Yeah. So if you want
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's pretty slick actually. If if you're local to us and you're looking to maybe check out some stuff before you buy it, we can pull it out of the warehouse and show it to you. But it's a better way of doing it. I mean, if we were to have to actually merchandise the tackle that we have here, we'd need a absolutely mega mall size store to merchandise it all.
How many square feet is the warehouse?
We just moved into a 30,000 square foot facility a couple weeks ago. Hence why my office still doesn't have stuff hanging on the wall.
Cow, 30,000 square feet. And then how many employees are there totally?
Well, I started with 5 of us sitting around a table, and we just crossed 30 employees now. So, and we're currently hiring as we speak. So,
all right, let's start there then. How did you decide you wanted to get into the online tackle game? Because that seems like an uphill climb, Pete.
It does, and it felt that way. I had to be sold on it. Honestly, I've been in the fishing industry a long time, like over 20 years now myself. So, and I worked in retail to start it off. I was working at a big box store. I was a fishing nut early on when I moved to Minnesota. But one of my best friends is Seth Fighter, and as he was traveling around the country, I would travel with him quite a bit. I was working actually with a rep group, and that's how I knew Trevor. Actually, Trevor was on my Daiwa Pro staff then. And,
okay.
Seth actually got involved with our founders. Our founders are Dan Wick, Matt Johnson, and Chris Morgel. They concepted Omnia Fishing. They actually reached out to Seth, brought Seth in early. And Seth actually was the one who came to me and said, hey, I want you to see if you could go help these guys get this thing rolling. I think what they want to do is cool. Honestly, first pitch they made to me on it, I was like, I don't know if bass fishermen, my circle of friends, are going to do fishing reports and shop by lake and all this technical stuff that these guys were talking about. But after our CEO took me to his brewery and fed me some of his barbecue from his food truck and all that, they talked me into trying it out, and it was one heck of a good idea that they had. So
who has the brewery?
Matt Johnson.
What are we talking about here?
Oh, beers, Able Seed House. So
it's like still up, and you can go get a
beers. Yes, yeah. So it's he's an entrepreneur. He's done a lot. He actually developed a lot of the mapping software that Lowrance uses. So Chris and Matt actually were working at Navico at Lowrance. Chris being on the national sales manager role, he was working with a lot of the OEM. So working with all the boat brands. Selling into the Bass Cats of the world and all the different boat manufacturers. And Matt was on the software side. He developed the CMAP technology and all that. And the two of them kind of concepted this idea that fishing commerce was way behind the rest of commerce. If you're thinking you need some toilet paper, you have no problem jumping on Amazon and ordering that. But fishing tackle was was slow behind that. So they concepted the idea for Omnia, which was geography based. And that's what really clicked for me was when I was working in retail, 90% of the people who'd come in and actually ask for your help were saying exactly this. They would say, I'm going to Lake X to go fishing. It would be a cabin lake in the North Country or down to Table Rock to fish, and say, what do I need for Table Rock Lake this time of year? And you'd have to hopefully you were talking to somebody that knew something, that had traveled around and knew all these different bodies of water. So they figured, hey, let's basically build a website for almost every single body of water in the entire North American continent. And that's what they did. And just recently we crossed the threshold of over 10,000 fishing reports. And we released our app, which makes it really easy for people to do a fishing report, whether it's via video or they could just take pictures and then fill out all the prompted boxes. And it helps people make tackle selections. It's not a catch app. It has nothing to do with spots or locations. Mm-hmm. We don't want anything to do with that, but we can actually, you can earn tackle by just recommending the baits that work on a body of water. And we've watched it just kind of slowly get rolling, and now it's trucking on super fast. So we're watching the tech part of the business kind of skyrocket now.
There's a whole lot to unwrap in what you just said, because you could go down like any one of those paths. But to just basically say it. If you know what you want, you can log on. You can just click on that stuff and do it. But if you also want to explore, if you're going fishing somewhere new, if you want to learn about new techniques, that's where Omnia is different because it kind of guides you through the process.
Exactly right. And that's me and you've talked about this in the past, but none of this, all this cool technology, all the cool stuff that we can do, which in my opinion, we have a first-in-class tech group here. We have full-stack engineers and data scientists and all that working here to help us along. But none of it works without a customer-first type operations team. Our warehouse team is really, for me, it's the pride of the organization right now. We ship faster than anybody, and we have all the SKUs. And I believe as of right now that we already have the second best assortment in all of bass fishing. And we're just now going to roll into other species. We're just starting to launch all of our crappie stuff now, and we're going to go into multi-species as well. But to your point, me and you had talked about earlier, we can ship this stuff to you super fast, and our customer service is second to none. And so whether or not you want to take part in all the data side of the business and learn about different bodies of water, do your research before a fishing trip, anything like that. If you're just looking, if you know you need 5-inch green pumpkin Senkos and you need some rage craws and you need some accent chigger craws or whatever it be you're after, we can ship it to you super fast. And we have a guarantee that if you place your order before 1 o'clock, it'll ship the same day. So if you, any business day, Monday through Friday, you place that order before 1 o'clock, it's out the door by 1 o'clock. So
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So just like as a sample, let me see if I can share the screen and show. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it because I've been trying to learn about all this stuff, right? Pete and Trevor, I want to wrap my head around it before I talk about it and show it. So, all right. So this is like the Omnia deal. So I made an account based on the Win Seth Fighter's 5 favorite Daiwa reels, which we'll talk about here in a second on the show. But it took 45 seconds, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get a bunch of like crap junk emails afterwards, and I didn't. So I'm pleased with that. Like I have the account, but I like just put in the lake, so then I can click on like lakes I fish. So like there's Lake Eufaula. So I fish Lake Eufaula a lot, probably more than any other lake right now. So then I can like just click on Lake Eufaula. It gives me 17 reports, 15 hot baits. It's got 3 ambassadors. I don't know what that means, or user favorites. I don't know what any of that means. What's an ambassador?
So an ambassador, Trevor should really get into that side of the business. That's what we brought him on to do, was kind of the outreach and him being able to talk to other anglers such as himself. But Trevor, you want to break that down for him?
Yeah. So our ambassadors, basically, it's a public pool of anglers. Anybody can really sign up to be an ambassador, but essentially these are the people that are generating these fishing reports for us. They're helping us provide all that UGC, user-generated content, in the form of fishing reports, lake breakdown videos, and that sort of deal.
Okay.
And it's 100% what we rely on because, you know, us not being at Lake Eufaula, you know, we rely on that local knowledge to provide all the nuances and the specific baits that people are actually using down there. You know, we can only describe what we think would work there from up here, but, you know, the people that are actually down there, that's going to be your more credible source of information. So that's what our ambassador pool is. And we have over 4,000 ambassadors currently that are providing fishing reports all over the country for us.
All right. So back to the map. So there's Lake Eufaula. So if I want to see my lake details, it's going to, because I follow it, I picked that as one of my lakes when I did it. It was super simple. It was just like a click down deal. And I just typed in the lakes. So I have like Thunderbird, Grand, Fort Gibson, Eufaula. Yeah. Right, so I picked my favorite lakes because, like I said, I was like, "Is this thing like legit?" And then it talks about season is winter, gives you a breakdown on the baits that are being used on Lake Eufaula during that time of the year. Then, if you want to know more about them, there's videos under each one of the baits that typically work. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go down, and then it shows you all the different types of jerk baits, and then also the lines, the hooks, the accessories for them, the reels, the rods. Then it's got different fishing reports for the lake for each one, and then it's got who is, reporting these things and kind of who the ambassadors are and things like that. So, like in 30 seconds, that's a complete breakdown of if I wanted to go to Eufaula right now and fish. I had no clue that even existed until I started doing research for that. That's pretty cool. I mean, especially, if you're a guy who knows what you want, maybe not up 100% up your alley if you're 100% dialed in, but as you start going to different lakes and traveling or vacation or have tournaments like for the opens coming up and stuff, there's a whole bunch of educational. BTL is entertain, educate, and engage. There's a whole bunch of educational stuff on that website that I didn't even realize existed.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing about that is, and I'm not saying this just for fun, it's literally scratching the surface of what's being built in the back end right now. We'll have tournament results, tournament dates, all that kind of stuff on there shortly. We have all the tech built for it, so you can find out if you're taking a trip, if you're going to run into a 500 boat club derby or something. When you go to the body of water, you can see tournament results, all that kind of stuff. So more mapping technologies coming, a lot of really cool stuff. As you heard me kind of mention before, our CEO came from map development software and all that. So as you can imagine, we've got some cool stuff up our sleeves that's going to be rolling out soon. So those lake pages are going to be funner and funner to do your homework on soon.
You mentioned the tournaments and how you'll integrate that. One of the things, and I guess that's when Omnia kind of came on my radar this past year, would be the kind of integrated simulstream that you did with the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that and kind of the future that you see that taking in the next step.
So one of our CTO, Dan Wick, he concepted that live shoppable video early stages of Omnia, and we were able to do that, host that on our own site. But he crossed the barrier of being able to host it third party, so we can actually make live shopping videos off site. So we could do it on Bassmaster Live, for example. You're going to see a lot more of that from us soon with more partners, more YouTube content creators, live streams, things like that. With the live, it was the perfect opportunity for us to kind of show partners in the industry what we were capable of doing, and being able to actually, myself and Joe Panessa sat there and actually watched the live stream all day long at work and just called out the baits people were using, and we were able to pop them up on the screen, and you could click on them and not leave the stream, which was cool. So you could add stuff to your cart and you wouldn't physically have to leave, click out. And you know how that goes when you log back into watching the live, you got to watch everything all over again and hope it works. So it's cool technology that once again is getting better by the day. But that was just a way of us showing that we're not thinking of just trying to do this the normal way. We want to be a leader when it comes to the e-commerce space, helping people shop and get all the stuff they want to get.
It's a discussion that is had in professional fishing, especially, and then as you work with sponsors, obviously they want to return on their investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the latest talk has been, is it social media influencers? Is it YouTube guys? Is it company marketing the baits, or is it tournament results? I feel like it used to be the classic winning bait. It's still seared in my head, the Jay Yellis flipping jig, and I would get that classic winning bait, and there'd be a picture of the guy with the classic and the bait, and here's the bait that he used. As technology and social media, there's guys who are saying, oh, people aren't paying attention to tournaments as much anymore. It's all social media and YouTube guys that are driving the market now.
Mm-hmm.
As someone whose job it is to try to make sure that the right baits are in the right hands, what are your, professional, off the record, on the record, what are your thoughts on what's driving the market, Pete and Trevor?
Well, I'll start with it from my end anyway, from the head of merchandising role, and Trevor probably point out how he's seen it from his role, where he's talking to actually the ambassadors and anglers out there more commonly. We started out by bucketing anglers kind of 1 through 10, right? So 1 being somebody who's almost forced to fish, like your brother-in-law's making you go up and go fishing at a cabin or something like that for a weekend, and 10 being a someone who signs up for all 9 opens and is just eaten up by fishing nonstop 24/7. Your 7 through 10s, who was how we targeted initially to concept out to prove out our operations and prove out our business. And you can imagine why we did that. They tend to order more than the one time a year they go fishing, right? A hardcore bass nut's going to order tackle all year long. And they will be influenced by tournament results, just like you stated. If I see, Taku catching them with some weird shrimp sauce in a jar, we want to know what that is. I was just at the Crappie Expo a couple weeks ago, and we ran into this guy that had these little tubes that looked like toothpaste. It was called Bait Pop. You put it on your line and your lure, and it makes your bait kind of explode on forward-facing sonar. And even teasing the fact, and we haven't even used it yet. I was down in Missouri, just we found it. I ordered it in. We got it in the shop. We did one little video saying like, hey, this stuff makes your bait explode on forward-facing sonar. And we wiped them out in 60 minutes. They were gone. Jeez. And it was because of tournament results, right? And it wasn't that it even had a tournament result, but if those 7 through 10s are very influenced by competitive angling and what happens on that. When you get below that number, that's where you see your YouTube influencers, your content creators start to influence the anglers. They might not be super into what's going on and following all the tours and what's going on there, but I would call it the 4 through 6s are very influenced by what the content creators are doing. And I'm going to be honest, the more research we do, what's blowing me away is how much bigger that pool is of 4 to 6s than the 7 to 10s. Now the 7 to 10s will spend more money, right? But the 4 to 6s, there's way more of them, way more. And so we're just now getting into our groove of starting to target that 4 to 6 level angler that Trevor's doing a good job of kind of bringing content creators in house to sell to them. But where are you seeing it mostly, Trevor? I'll let you answer that too.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of us bass nuts, we have a tendency to get kind of biased and, focused on that 7 through 10 angler category. But that 4 to 6 is a huge market. I wouldn't say it's untapped because, most of our content creators, most YouTubers and that sort of thing, they've understood that that's a giant segment of the market and they've definitely exploited that very well. But it's definitely a portion of the market that needs a little bit more attention. And that's where we are trying not to be too, biased as tournament nuts and bass heads to that 7 to 10 and to, expand a little bit more and reach some of those guys through content creators because at the end of the day, these are the people that are putting out YouTube videos and honestly good content on social media and in video, and they're generating a lot of traffic for companies, and they have the ability to command pretty high asking prices and that sort of thing just because of the audience that they're able to engage, for sure.
That's interesting. So I struggle with that on the podcast side, right? How far do I want to go down the path of, like I had, you guys know Joel Willard. I had Joel Willard on, and he was talking about the reality of trying to survive at that AAA level and make it. Well, if you're, what you said, a 4 to 6, that's hard to relate to because you want kind of tips and tactics and you want to understand the overall thing. And this is a really narrow kind of path to go down, but the 8s through 10s I like how you do that numbers like that. That's what really engages them. So one of the things that I've done, and I think this is right up that alley, is I try to understand sports that I have no clue about. I was forced into understanding how the bowling world works through Mark Jeffries, and his, he's got his pro card and he's fishing that. But I also went into like billiards, and I went into darts, and I went into motocross, like stuff that I didn't know, like what gets me interested, what do I find interested. But here's what I'm really into right now. I'm into like good golf. Bob does sports. I'm into these golf YouTube channels, and they have, some of them have their own products. Like the good guys are like with Omnia. Well, I'm like if I am honest, I shoot like 90. from the tips. So I mean, I can decent, like I'll go on like a string of 3 or 4 pars and a birdie, but then I'll put up a snowman, no problem. But I'm interested because I'm interested in what they're doing, and now I'm looking at this good putter because my putter's from 1978, and that's a YouTube channel who has a putter, and they're talking about stuff. And then I'm on like Bryson DeChambeau's channel that's like a next level. Well, I'm also then I'm not. I watch the PGA Tour and all that, and I've got my own thoughts on live golf. But I'm in this world. I'm like right there in that 4 to 6 in the golf world, and I'm seeing how I am influenced by these. But I'm still influenced by the guys at the top level. I think it's the same thing that's going on in fishing, except I'm so involved in fishing that it's this little bubble. On the golf world, I'm like just another, just one of these guys floating around being like, oh, that looks interesting. That looks nice. I'm watching putter reviews and stuff like that. You guys are trying to figure out how to capture all that audience too. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it on the head. That's a perfect analogy for what's going on here. I try and put myself in our customers' shoes a lot, and it's important to us. I get scared right all the time as we add more and more baits, as we add more and more brands that maybe aren't associated, or their content even that they're helping us show people isn't so much for that 7 to 10 level angler, right? I don't want to send you emails now that you signed up for your account with all this crappie gear that I just got when you're trying to learn about stuff for bass.
Yeah, I won't turn down a good crappie bait, Pete.
I'm hoping that's the case. Trust me. The technology side of our business it's so vital to what we're going to be doing, where we let people customize the type of content they're seeing. But to your exact point, I think about the times back in the day. I'm aging myself, but when me and Seth were younger, driving around the country, and he was trying to, start fishing national tournaments and things like that, and we were fishing places, the research that we were trying to do on our phones and on laptop, trying to figure out where to go next, what other bodies of water all around us, what else could we do while we're in upstate New York or down in the Carolinas or whatever. And it was amazing to see how fractured all that information was and how it was all over the place. If you're willing to open your eyes up to what a lot of these YouTubers and content creators have put out there for content, even though you might consider yourself sort of an elitist bass angler, it opens your eyes up to a lot of cool stuff that you might not have seen. And as we all know, the sport of bass fishing evolves and evolves and evolves. It just keeps changing, and you've got to step up your game all the time. And having a place for the bass fishing community and the fishing community as a whole eventually to come and not have any garbage on there where everybody are ripping on a kid for holding up a 12-inch pike like I catch all the time, or just a good wholesome place to go collect all that fishing information and knowledge is something exciting for me. I'm excited to see how far we can take this and how deep we can get into the content world. And we do have a team of people here, just to point that out. When Trevor was pointing out that ambassador program we have different levels of ambassadors that get all the way up to earning actual money as they're helping provide people with good educational fishing information. If they're purchasing stuff based off these people's recommendations, we'll actually take care of those ambassadors. But those early level ambassadors that just get in, we have our team here reviewing the stuff that they put out to make sure we don't get those people that are putting out bunk information, you know what I mean, that's falling on its face. So I'm excited to see how far we take this in the next year. I mean, it's crazy for me to think that 5 of us were sitting around a table a couple of years ago, and a big day of sales for us was maybe $1,000 to, what we've done in 2 short years is pretty crazy. I think what we're going to see out of us this next year is going to be industry leading. I'm pretty confident in that.
So you guys went live in 2020 then?
We technically, the company was concepted in 19
Okay.
We were sitting around a table and still building the tech out. 2020 really is when e-commerce wise we started actually selling and getting baits out in people's hands and starting the lake pages up.
One of the biggest challenges, becoming known across the United States and not just dominant up north. That to me seems like one of your biggest hurdles right now.
It is. And that's what a lot of the work Trevor's doing to work with anglers down south. I mean, we partnered with Patrick Walters, who's down in the Carolinas there, and he's helped us. We're trying to get our feet out there with the influencers and more podcasts and try and get our name known down there. Trevor's working with a lot of the tournament organizations down south now. We've done our job up at home supporting the tournament organizations, but down south we got to do our work. To me, that's probably the most exciting thing, is what you mentioned there, is for as much work as we've put in, there's still a lot of opportunity out there for us to grow our name around the rest of the country.
I do want to say this, and this might not be the right thing to say with you guys on, but I'm still a big supporter of the small one-off little tackle stores that are around the country. I mean, there's one Lucky Lure up here in OKC and stuff, and I think there's a place for both of those. I think there's a place for, hey, I need this stuff overnight. I'm going somewhere. I need to know what I need to get, and I can get it, and I can have it in my hands. And, hey, I'm going to keep this guy, floating. Does that make sense? Am I off base at saying that? Because that's still really important to me, those small one-off tackle guys that have their heart and soul in it. I don't want to, like, Walmartize everything, because there's something cool about going into that little one-off tackle store as well. And dude, if you're a fisherman, I know you work for Omnia, that's your job, but you got to admit there's something about a little one-off tackle store sometimes, like the Mike's Tackle Indicator and stuff like that.
People are going to think we set this up as a layup there, but they're absolutely. I'm a tackle shop junkie. Half my clothing is from random tackle shops from around the country, and I make it a point to try and buy something from one every time I'm around one. But that's honestly a lot of the concept of the Shop by Lake thing, is trying to give people that tackle shop type feel to their shopping that's relevant to exactly where they're fishing. But all I'll say is this is all I can get into on that. The Shop by Lake concept and what we're trying to do does involve in the future working with alongside and partnering with a lot of tackle shops.
I swear that's not even on the list of anything we're going to
mention. Yeah, no, that's that's something on our road. That's on our roadmap for a long ways down the road. So, but I couldn't agree with you more. I think one of our major goals is to help empower the local tackle shop.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, can we get into some trends from 2022? Some of the things that went down, BPT, Bassmaster Elite Series. I know in my mind, I have a picture of how it went and where it's headed, but I just want to see what you guys say, because you're on the back end of it. You've seen the sales. You've seen it all. So we will dive into that when we return. It is BTL on a Monday, December 5th, with Pete and Trevor from Omnia Fishing. We will be back right after this.
Your key to better fishing this season is Elite FS, now available at a new lower price. Get Elite FS9 today for $9.99, and we'll throw in a C-Map reveal chart, our premium mapping solution, for free. Elite FS works with all state-of-the-art Lowrance sonar, from chirp, side scan, and down scan imaging with fish reveal to high-resolution active target live sonar. Elite FS9 and C-Map reveal. Offer ends August 31st.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Hey guys, Gerald Swindle, representing the AFCO Hydronaut. This is the jacket I love wearing when times is tough, and I'm talking about the weather, not the fishing. The jacket, what I like, I got a double cup right here. I can seal up the bottom of my jacket, because when you're fishing, you're holding your arms up, you're bad about getting water that runs downhill. Everything bends good. I'm long arm. Look, it fits very comfortable. My arms is flexible. I've got the speed hood on, pouring down rain. I can get everything zipped up. One thing they did is they made plenty of pocket space. If you ain't got enough pockets in the Hydronaut rain suit, you just got too much stuff. From the water membrane membrane, that's 30K, baby. 30 times the reason you ain't gonna get wet. Super warm. If it's cold in the wintertime, you put on your Hydronaut, you're gonna be a much more comfortable person. If you don't want to just look sexy at Dairy Queen, wear your Hydronaut. We got it from small to 5X. Most rain gear does not come in that many sizes. You got waist adjusting straps. We can make it fit you no matter what the environment is. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be dry. You gotta check it out. It ain't gonna let you down.
The KVD 100 jerkbait. 15 different colors. A perfect combination of roll, wiggle, and flash. Increased castability. 3D eyes. Premium black nickel hooks. KVD. Tie one on. Striking lures.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
Welcome back, BTL on a Monday. Pete and Trevor from Omnia Fishing talking about all things, and I did open up that first commercial segment with I need a new Lowrance feature. I got the banners up on the BassZone.com website, but they have a bunch of crazy stuff coming out. I showed up here, the Active Target 2. Now it looks crazier. HDS Pros, Lead FS's, hook reveal. So, like I said, new 30-second spot coming shortly from Lowrance, but all sorts of stuff happening over at Lowrance with the Active Target 2 and the HDS Pro. I don't think there's actually like a release date on when we'll be able to have those on the vessel, but they look fantastic. So, all right. Before we took a break, I said I kind of have in my mind what the trends were this year in professional fishing. But from a analytical standpoint, from a statistics standpoint, I'm guessing you guys have the numbers there on like what guys won on, and then how much that kind of drove sales and stuff. Like, you guys know at the top end what was done by who, with what, and where.
Yeah, we definitely get. That's one of the fun parts of the job, is being able to kind of watch how fast people consume what happened on tournament day and how fast they jump on the baits right afterwards. And it's still, when on Sunday it sells on Monday, it's still very, very, very true, especially with our current consumer base. It definitely makes a difference on what won it for sure.
Do you want to go through some of the stuff that was the deal in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly can. You can fire away
right.
on it.
I want to start at the smallmouth stuff because that's the most curious thing to me. Like, as a tackle company and for smallmouth, are smallmouth derbies good for you guys or bad for you guys? Because I don't think there's been a ton of like crazy innovation over the last 4 or 5 years with smallmouth stuff, or am I way off base on that?
No, you're right. What's happening with smallmouth is the more they get exposed around the country, and obviously for whatever contributing factors, the smallmouth fisheries are getting stronger. Let's face it, the smallmouth are getting bigger, they're getting more plentiful, and a lot of bodies of water, so they're getting a lot of attention. So what smallmouth have that largemouth struggling and that doesn't have as much anymore is those garage kind of bait makers, you know what I mean?
Like really the hair small jigs and stuff like that.
Yep. So you get a lot of custom tackle, a lot of hand pourers, scents and attractants and all that stuff is really starting to show up as people compete over smallmouth now. It's not as simple as just making sure you got a drop shot, you know, when you go somewhere. Now you got to have a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so let's do Taco's squid deal.
Yeah.
Okay. As a taco company, I had never heard of it before that a couple years ago, and that comes out. So it comes out, oh, he's soaking it in this stuff. Look, only 6.5 pounders eat it.
Yeah.
So then I'm sure that there's someone at how does that work? Like, you guys don't have it in stock. You don't know where it is. You hear something. I'm sure you're on the phone going, what the hell is this? And they're like, I don't know. We need to figure it out. So what is that process to go from figuring it out to getting it on the site?
That's my life, right? So I wake up the day of the tournament and I'm watching it and I'm going, here we go. And of course, my network of friends is much like yours. They're tournament fishermen from all over the country. So I'm getting the messages already from whether it's a touring pro to a local club tournament buddy from around town. Can you get that stuff? Can you get that stuff? So you start calling in favors, trying to see how fast you can get your hands on stuff, calling. Most of the products we carry, we get through multiple suppliers, right? We have a direct relationship with the manufacturer, but then you also have distributors and other outlets to try and get your hands on stuff. So something in particular, like all of Taku's nori stuff, I didn't have a connection with Nori's. I knew somebody who was importing the stuff, but they didn't have any, right? So I literally, through friends of friends, got a hold of Taku to the point where I'm standing at lacrosse at his or we're at the house he rented, talking to him, trying to get my hands on the stuff. So, yeah, a lot of times, the one that comes to mind, I don't know why, but we were doing some live stuff during it. But when Drew Cook and the boys all smashed him on the Fighting Frog from Big, and there were non-sponsored anglers, that really does, believe it or not, make a big effect. And I know manufacturers don't want to hear that, but that is what it is. When you see guys that are non-sponsored fishing a bait that they get caught using and it's catching, and it's a top 10 type bait in that tournament, that really fires stuff off. Like, you get caught with your pants down. Unfortunately, I had 12s of every color of Fighting Frogs, and within a split second, they're gone. And you're calling the folks at Outdoor Brands team. You're calling distributors, doing everything you can to try and get the stuff on the way as fast as possible. And that was one why that comes to mind, was we were able to jump on a whole bunch of them really fast. And for the next 3, 4, 5 days, we saw strong sales with the Fighting Frog, and then it tapers off, but yeah, to still the win on Sunday, sell on Monday thing is very relevant.
So you're seeing guys that are ordering it while live is going on, and they're saying, holy cow, this is what I want. And they're coming in, and you're seeing depending on what it is, you're seeing the site go nuts.
Yep. We've got pretty cool, like I pointed out a bunch of times, the tech team here is a real tech team. So they actually put up live screens. We'll have screens up all over the office in here, and we can actually see the activity on the site from all over the country and kind of watch it like the Matrix, real time, go and see baits get affected by tournaments.
And then as it goes up, you got guys that are on the phone trying to get more from the different distributors or direct or everything. So it's kind of like, all right, it's game week. Here we go.
Yep. And I miss sometimes too, right? So you can't get it in time. By the time you get it in, your competitors have already captured those sales. So we do the best we can doing homework ahead of time. And I would say we bat pretty well when it comes to that. I do my homework as much as I can, trying to talk to anglers ahead of tournaments and stuff to see what might go down. And usually we hit it, but obviously there's stuff like shrimp juice that shows up and you have no idea what to do in that situation, but beg for favors.
Have you guys seen a big push this year in Carolina rig equipment and baits and stuff like that? I mean, it's not always big up north, but I've noticed, so you look at like Buddy Gross, Austin Felix, some stuff on the St. Lawrence. I mean, I'm a staunch opponent. I am not for the Carolina rig. I would rather see everyone in the field throwing a 7-hooked Alabama rig before they throw a Carolina rig, but that's just me. But I mean, did you notice like a jump in that, like trends throughout the season where you're like, dang, we're selling a lot of swivels, a lot of barrel sinkers, a lot of 2-aught EWGs, stuff like that?
The terminal side of it, yes. The baits itself, nothing stands out to me that we saw anything go crazy there. But to your point, it was a call out. We do a lot of customer surveys when we enter new markets or we get a collection of emails or anything from a group, consumer group. We ask them, can you please go on the site, tell us what we're missing? And that, to your point, was a big call out of our customers this year. Was something I had done a poor job of, and that was assorting us with a large amount of Carolina rig terminal. So that's something just recently we actually bolstered up to get a lot more barrel style weights and more swivels and beads and different. The big trend's been people trying to dial in hooks for Carolina rigs, arguments breaking out over what style of hook to use and all
that. Trevor, then Trevor can answer this too, because he's up there. What's the deal with the ringed hook? I feel like you guys probably sell a bunch of ringed hooks. We've never heard of that down there. I think I've had a couple guys on, and one or two like opted just to brush it off. But then you see like everything, and any northern angler in a flipping or punching situation has a split ring. They have a split ring in front of the hook. It's weird. We don't get it down here.
Yeah, it's kind of I guess you could call it a nuance.
Am I way off on that? Is that like a normal thing? Like that's waking up and drinking coffee is flipping with a split ring in front of your hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's pretty common practice up here, especially if you're flipping milfoil and flipping grass up here. A lot of the guys do it. It's more of a confidence thing, I guess you could say. Some guys, they get better hookup ratios on it, and it just allows that bait to pendulum swing around a little bit better, a little bit more freely. But yeah, that's definitely something that we do up here, and a lot of guys that we don't see them doing it down south as much. They're starting to catch on a little bit the more they see it up here, but yeah, it's definitely pretty common practice up here.
I mean, that should be a thing, right?
It's since I got into bass fishing up here, the local Hammers, the Seth Fighters, and the Dean Capras, and the known Minnesota anglers, everybody was throwing that solid metal ring. So it's not actually a split ring; it's solid welded metal ring. It has no gap in it, but the landing percentage when you're setting the hook in grass goes through the roof with that solid metal ring. So it's like Trevor said, it's a confidence thing. It's as common up here as crankbaits are in East Tennessee. It's solid metal ring hook, and to your point, we sell a ton of them.
We talk a lot about baits. We're focused on baits, also a lot of rods and reels, line and stuff. Does tournament wins and success translate to sales for rods and reels as well?
I haven't seen it affected as much as consumables, to your point. Baits and all that will fly. The rods and reels, it really does tend to be with our current consumer base, it's very brand loyal, brand loyalist. I was really shocked myself to see how much Dobbins has a massive following. Your G Loomis guys don't veer far away from Shimano G Loomis. St. Croix's got a absolute cult like following, like Bass Cat guys like myself. It's if you're a St. Croix guy, you're a St. Croix guy. Reels, that comes down to features. You see the whether DC brakes come out, they're the hot thing. Everybody's got to have digital controlled brakes. Daiwa's SV technology. Big spinning reels have been a big trend for us. We sell a lot more 3,000 and 4,000 size spinning reels than any other. So that's more
big. Not that it's a trend towards bigger spool size instead of the 2,000s and 2,500s.
Yep, not even close. 3,000 and 4,000 starting to creep up there on 3,000
for bass guys.
Yep.
God, I gotta get on that train because I'm still a 2,500 guy. I like a smaller spinning reel, even though I've heard the pitch for the larger spool as far as being able to take more line in and the drag and fighting the fish and having more torque. It feels I need to mess around with the 3,000s, I guess.
I've been fighting. We've been fighting. Me and Brandon Polinick have been on this argument for 10 plus years on the 2,500 versus 4,000.
Is he a smaller guy? He's a smaller guy.
He's actually up to a 3,000 now. He won't admit that I talked him into that, but he's up to a 3,000 size now.
What's Seth use now?
4,000s, all 4,000s. We've even monkeyed
That's like
around
a saltwater tuna size.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You turn the handle once, you bend the rod over. It's the way to do it.
All right. Well, we're all about smooth transitions here. So speaking about Seth Fighters reels,
Yeah.
there is a deal that well, just explain what Omnia is doing with the Win Seth Fighters Daiwa reels drawing.
You want to take it, Trevor?
Sure. So we have a giveaway going right now. I believe it's 5 reels. Is that right, Pete?
Yep. You win all 5 of
Yeah.
Seth's favorites.
Yep. So Seth's handpicked out 5 of his favorite reels that he's been using on tour this last year, and past couple of years. Some of the other reels that have been out for a little bit, but essentially we're doing a giveaway, partnering with Daiwa on that to give away 5 of them to one person. I think we have a consolation prize as well?
Yeah. I want to say it's 5 or 10. I can't remember. There's another 5 winners that'll win just a Tula 100 as well.
Okay.
Yep. So it's free to sign up. It's a giveaway. We've got a page going for it.
Yeah. It's omniafishing.com/ that's a / right?
Yep. /BTL.
I always get those mixed up because the other / kind of looks like it's going forwards, but it starts back. So it's / BTL. And I did this, like I said, it took me 30-45 seconds. And basically what it does is it's a win-win, right? Because you're obviously looking for more people to create accounts on omniafishing.com.
For sure. Yep.
But if you create your free account, absolutely no, you don't have to give any information, whatever. It just allows you to do that thing like with the lake that I did before and look through it. You're then registered for the Seth Fighter Daiwa Reels drawing. Helps BTL, helps Omnia, gives you a chance to win 5 of Seth Fighters reels, and it looks like one of those is a 4,000 spinning reel in there.
Yeah, there is. And on that note, while you're taking the time to go through that and create your Omnia account, probably the most popular feature to date that Omnia we rolled out of the gates with it, and now it's probably the thing our customers like the most about Omnia is our premium account. So if you sign up for premium, I highly invite you to go ahead on any chat boards and ask about it or whatever. It's very similar to like your Amazon Prime kind of membership. It's a $30 membership a year, but you actually get free shipping, no minimums for an entire account, the entire year from the date of purchase. You get 10% back on all your transactions. So throughout the year, you're kind of banking 10% of what you've been spending on baits. But that free shipping, no minimums is huge. If you think about as from a tournament angler perspective or anything, if you're just in need desperately of 3 bags of TRDs or whatever it be, you get no shipping, and we do that fast shipping no matter what. So that sort of pays for itself right away in a couple transactions, no doubt. Plus, you get access to all of our premium-only kind of specials and rewards and deals. So premium's definitely a no-brainer. And starting today, if you add premium to your cart, so you can just go to your cart on the website. You don't even need an account currently to be set up before this. But if you go to your cart, you can actually add premium to your cart. And right now, we're doing so all your BTL listeners can do this now. You get 100% rebate on that. So within 1 to 2 business days in your account, you'll see you have $30 in your account that you can spend on tackle. So we're going to kick you back the $30 you spend to actually create your premium account. So I highly, highly recommend you try it. Give us a shot at that. I'll bet you it's something you look forward to getting every single year.
Okay. So the premium is, you said it's $29.
You got it.
And then when you log back in the next day or whatever it goes through, you'll have $29 credit.
$30 credit.
$30 credit. Okay, so it is free premium.
Yep.
That's like a win-win.
It's free. It's giving you a shot to try it for a year. Like I said, our return rate on premium is as high as anything. It's probably one of the gold medals that Omni has won so far. Is definitely premium rewards,
because this is like the first time that we've gone down the like / BTL route and all that stuff. But like I said, I like what you guys are doing, and I feel like it's more than just that. There's a lot of thought and process that goes in behind all of what you're doing. So the other question that I had that I don't know what it is. Hold on, I got to get back to it to be able to see. I had a question about this. What is free personal shoppers. What is that?
So a lot of people that call in or have a ton of questions, or shopping for other people, things like that. We have a team of CSRs here, customer service representatives, that will actually help you, just like if you walked into a store. So if you want to start a chat session with them, we can actually set that up, and they can go back and forth with you, kind of curate an order for you and help you out picking out holiday gifts or tournament tackle for a trip or a tournament you're fishing, or all that. And they have access to all sorts of data to help you make some educated decisions on your tackle purchases.
So it sounds like you guys just sit around and go, what do we need? This would be cool. Let's do it. And then you have all your tech people and stuff, and then you implement it and roll with it. Is that a fair assessment?
We work fast and hard. So every meeting I go to, our founders come up with 10 more projects for the week for us. So that we're not going to slow down anytime soon. I'm sure we'll have something new to talk to you about shortly.
All right. So to recap, omniafishing.com/BTL. Sign up for a drawing to win 5 of Seth Feider's favorite. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
5 of Seth Feider's favorite Daiwa reels. And then in addition to that, is there a BTL code for the premium stuff, or is that just sign up for premium?
Just go ahead and add premium to your cart, purchase it, and you're gonna
when you sign up for the OmniaFishing.com BTL.
You absolutely can do that. Sign up it's a no-brainer at that point, because you're gonna have an account. You might as well earn 10% back and have no shipping costs ever.
All right, good deal. And then throughout the year next year, are you going to jump on BTL and do some trends and stuff for the Elite Series and the BPT? Hey, let me ask you this. I got you here. I'm going to ask it to you. Did you see a difference between BPT wins and Elite Series wins this year? Like, did one seem to drive more? Are you allowed to talk about that? Was that a question I shouldn't have asked?
I've got friends in both, so I have to be as political as I can.
Well, it's just a black or white question.
It is. And I think, honestly, most of them would answer you. That 7 to 10 consumer group that we're currently servicing really well does lean a lot more Bassmaster. We do see it a lot.
Well, I also wonder, though, is that because of a format? So you're also more likely to see one-off lures, 5-fish lures, more unique stuff that you could get, whereas you tend to go towards more bites, schooling fish, forward-facing sonar, number of keepers. So it's more generic stuff that everybody has. It's not not negative towards one or the other. I was just curious.
I personally, that's what my answer always is. It's very similar to yours. I think it has a lot to do with, watching Edwin Evers catch 200 bass in a pocket, but they're all this big. I had no desire to go chase down that lure. It was more of a location and his good fishing skills that got him there more than the lure was. Whereas if you're watching a guy smoke everybody by 20 pounds in a 4-fish derby, I want to know what he caught him on big time.
I got a couple more questions that I just want to get off my chest. I would feel like unique topwater baits would fly off the shelves way more than other stuff, just because of like the visual of it and how it's like different and unique. So I'd imagine when you have derbies where topwater plays, those things just start popping left and right because it's a one-off deal.
Yeah. We that was probably my biggest surprise of the year when we did customer surveys. We did a wish list, actually, where you could go out on Omnia's website and fill out a wish list of things that you wanted that maybe you just didn't have the money to buy or you weren't ready to buy or anything like that. And we did this wish list thing to see what people were after. And the number one item on the wish list was not a jackhammer. It was not a rod or a reel. It was the evergreen shower blows.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which would blew my mind, but that was, people love topwaters. So to your point, if topwaters, people see people catching them on it, it's hard to keep them in stock.
Do the price tags, even on some of the affordable glide baits, we're seeing that implemented a lot more into tournaments with what we've seen with Carl and Lee Livesey and Chris Zaldane and Brandon Polinick, all the way from $30 up to $200. Is that a hot ticket item as well, or is that price tag keeping and bound some of the interest in those baits?
That one's a weird one to me, because I own 10 glide baits total, and they're all the cheaper version. I shouldn't call them cheap, but you know what I mean. Price point ones. I can't bring myself to buy an expensive one.
Like a S-Waver or a Storm or
Alex one,
Arashi Glide,
all that stuff. It's not even close. It's a one-sided affair. The high-end stuff crushes it. So the depths, glides are by far and away our most popular one. So that consumer tends to want to go after the real high dollar, high buck one.
Trevor, you probably can't even throw those up there, can you? That's just like pike.
No, I only
pike
use spinning
muskie
rods.
Gone, right? Are you really? You're really? No,
the bait caster.
No, that's BS.
No, I don't throw glides all that much. I've got a few, but kind of to Pete's point, the purists are the ones that are spending $150, $200 a bait, and I can't justify that, especially when I'm going to have a 30-inch pike just bite me off on the first cast. So
how big's a 30-inch pike? We go by pounds. Like a 5-6 pounder.
Oh, those suckers can range. That could be a 3 pounder up to a 7 pounder.
Yeah.
That's a hammer handle, right?
That's right.
You got it.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Let's go through. Oh, John wants to know, how do you enter the contest again? It is omniafishing.com/BTL, and I will work on getting a banner link on basszone.com here afterwards, where you guys can just go click on that. So the other thing, and I haven't really announced this, that BTL is doing, is we're getting back into the social media world in 2023. So, with it just being myself, we're going back more to Instagram, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, all sorts of stuff that, before we've got a weird dynamic here, but I see the value in it. We're going to start doing that. So there will be more content, more avenues to interact, react, and get the content out on BTL. So cool. What else, Pete, Trevor, have we covered a bunch of stuff in this. What else did you guys want to chat about? I mean, I'm good to go for however long you guys want to.
Well, I guess I want, first off, thanks for having us on. I don't know if we got to that. That's pretty cool of you to take interest in what we're doing. I definitely, I feel pretty lucky that a fishing bum got to be found by a bunch of tech geniuses, and this is going really well. So I'm pretty grateful about that. We did just move into our new facility, which is a big deal for us. We've been really hamstrung the last year by not being able to grow as fast as we wanted to because of space. So having this new facility is pretty big for us. I would like to say we do have a mobile app, Apple and Android, and it makes filing those fishing reports super easy. So if you want to do them and earn some free tackle, we'd love to bring more people on board, especially any BTL listeners that want to help people catch more fish. If you want to check out our app there and do some of those fishing reports, Trevor will be the guy who tracks you down if you're doing a good job and ladder you up the organization. We're looking for more help with that all the time. We are looking to get more involved with Trevor's outreach with a lot more tournament organizations and things of that nature to try and get our name out there around the country. We're always looking for feedback on what more to add to our assortment. So we're basically open to hearing, getting some advice from all you anglers from all over the country on what our next steps are as we scale up this business and start adding more and more tackle. So,
and if you talk to Trevor, you have the rare ability to talk to like one of 400 Bassmaster Classic qualifiers in history.
That's true.
What can I say?
Does that seem like it was 6 years ago when you made it through Minnesota?
It's
6 years. Like I remember you sitting at the dock there with the Iron Man mask on and going out. It's just crazy I was thinking about that and I was like, 6 years. Holy cow.
Yeah. Time has 100% flown by just way too fast. I mean, we have kind of like a collage of photos from that college win up at my house. And every time I walk past it, I'm just like, one, I was like 30 pounds lighter, and two, I was like 7 years younger. But it's just like,
I
holy
opened
cow.
up the show too. But dude, like it's a testament to Bassmaster programs for the future. So like I've the only reason I'm involved in this is Casting Kids. Back when Helen Sevier owned Bass, Wrangler, the whole Casting Kids thing is what got me into this thing. Like you had the collegiate fishing, and now look, full-time job in the industry. Oh, yeah. I know you've guided, you fish some too, but it's amazing how just different avenues, different levels of programming lead to careers. Like I'm working also with Johnny Schultz from Fish the Moment, and he's got a deep dive app out, and it's crazy to see like just guys who are very educated and could do anything they want get their start. He got his start in casting kids too. It brings it back full circle, and being able to do something that you're passionate about and that is doesn't even seem like work a lot of the time. It's cool that that there's a bunch of us who've been able to do that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. If you told me that, 10 years ago that I'd be working in the industry that I have such a love for, I would have signed me up right now. I'm good with that. So, and
then through the dynamic stuff and everything you got to do with them, you learned the marketing side and the business side of it, and then went back through and then learned the guiding side of it. And now you're well-rounded and actually can work with the anglers.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
100%. Yep.
Same kind of story with you, Pete, too. You said you've been in this thing forever.
Yeah, I grew up in upstate New York, but I didn't fish much when I lived there. I grew up in Syracuse, actually, and I had an uncle that took me salmon fishing and walleye fishing and stuff like that, but I never bass fished. But I moved to Minnesota, was working at a tackle store, and I met this little weird kid that used to come in and stand at the line wall and buy lines named Seth Biter. So me and him started fishing together and got hardcore into fishing. My heroes are actually the Linders. So I was consumed by everything the Linders did. DVDs were out by then, and I watch everything that they ever made and read all their magazines and books and all that.
Dude, I'm right there with you in fisherman, because I grew up in Illinois.
Yeah.
So I was Midwest outdoors and in fisherman.
You got it. And that's what I got into hardcore. And, cut to a few years later as I kind of worked my way up within different sales organizations for different manufacturers. I actually got to become friends with the Linders. I actually got to guest host the show a couple times and fish with those guys and get to fish with Al a few times. And I can't imagine doing anything else for a living but being in the fishing industry. So I'm really happy about the way things are going here with Omnia.
There's no way we got to be like the same age. How old are you? I'm 38.
I'm 42.
Okay. Yeah. Roughly the same age right there. Once you get past 35, 5 years.
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah.
It's all the same. All right, guys. Well, like I said, thank you for coming on. We'll be talking a lot more with Omni in the future. Good stuff. I think there's a lot of interest and intrigue into that kind of online tackle world, where it's been, where it's going, what drives sales. And hopefully that was what I like to do is take sponsors of the show and then use you guys to give a glimpse behind the scenes. So whether it's me asking dumb questions about batteries with Matt Looney and Pro Guide, I got done and I was like, man, people think I'm an idiot. Or, doing a thing with Frank with props, or the difference between action and stuff in different rods and materials. And the next one that I'm doing is line. So Sunline has all this crazy stuff. So everyone's like, well, you flip with shooter and you wind with sniper. And I'm like, okay, but why? And then they've got this book that has all these different charts of what the different, you've probably seen that. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah.
Well, no one else has seen that, right? So I'm like, dude, we got to show that to people to be like, this isn't just a ploy to be like, hey, we renamed shooter sniper and sniper shooter and all that. It's this is why I break this line off when I set the hook, and this line I haven't broken off in 2 years and stuff. There's a method to the madness behind the scenes. So that's my next. I'm trying to get someone from Sunline to come on and talk about all those different diagrams for their 19 different types of lines.
I'm going to tune into that one for sure. I happened to be at the writers conference that you attended, and
that's right.
I got all sorts of that line, and I don't know what half of it is. So actually our digital merchandiser, Joe Panessa, is working with the Sunline people to get those charts up on our site. So to help people shopping, they can do a little research on the line as they shop for different fishing lines.
I'm trying to see. I don't think it's online. It's just in that one brochure, and it's all these weird different hexagonal shapes and stuff, but one's subtleness, one's abrasion resistance, and then each one has its own deal. All right, guys, Trevor, Pete, stay warm up there in Minnesota. I know there's a solid 6 inches of ice already, and they just got done with the St. Paul Ice Show. It's time for full beards and perch and beer drinking.
You got it. That's about right. That about sums up winter here. You got that right.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you, man.
All right. That was Pete and Trevor from Omnia Fishing. So big shout out to them for jumping on. I know we kind of bounced all over the place there, but I learned a bunch of different stuff in that. So we're going to take our final break of the show. When we come back, talk about what we have going on for the rest of the week on BTL. We'll be back right after this.
Get the best patterns backed by tournament data. Start by finding the best 10% of your lake. Know exactly what to look for and what to throw. After that, just put them in the boat. Try the Deep Dive app today.
Look at that beast right there.
All your own fishing electronics? Well, the Bass Tank is here to help you. The solution is the Bass Tank Power Harness. It takes the guesswork out of installation. No more voltage issues or interference. Designed by an engineer so that you can get professional results right there in your own garage. Installation done right with the help of the Bass Tank Power Harness. You can feel confident knowing that your installation was done right. The Bass Tank Power Harness. Give us a call or order yours today at thebasstank.com.
All right, welcome back to BTL. I thought I had identified the culprit in the live ads. I thought it was the Denali. It was not. Apparently, I was live for another 30 seconds. So, hey, we'll be in the new studio in a couple weeks here over in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And hopefully we'll have everything taken care of by then. All right, tomorrow, very interesting guest. Bill McDonald, been in the industry a long time on the MLF Pro Circuit, the FLW side of it. Also, a lot of kind of behind-the-scenes industry and sponsor-related stuff with Lucas Oil, a number of different things. And he's going to be talking about the move that he is making in 2022. Also going to be talking about fishing in Indiana. It's an interesting part of the country. You look at Indiana, you've got Bill and Joe Thomas and Jacob Wheeler and Bill Lowen, and a number of really good anglers have come out of Indiana. And as far as I know, there's not a lot of just like juggernaut fisheries in Indiana. So we'll talk to Bill about what is in the water in Indiana that is making guys cast, catch, count, and mount. So also on Thursday, Frank will be back with another day 4. Working on a cool show for Wednesday, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to announce that. But in the meantime, go to omniafishing.com/BTL. Sign up, get registered to win Seth Feider's 5 favorite Daiwa reels, and then also that premium thing is cool. If you buy the premium, it's $29. Let me make sure I get this right. Buy the premium, $29. You get $30 credit at Omnia, so then you basically get a free premium account, and then you can take advantage of all the different stuff that we talked about. All right, that is it for a Monday. We'll be back tomorrow on BTL with Bill McDonald, everybody. We'll see you then.